What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel, and today we are going to be finding my favourite MLS rares on Sorare under £30. And as always guys, please make sure to like and subscribe, and if you've got any questions about any of the players we go through today, please let me know down in the comments. Right, let's get into the video. Okay guys, so I've been playing around with the Sorare data filters and I've managed to find a few players which I really like for under £30. And I think that's a really good price bracket, especially in rare currently. You can still get a lot of quality, which is great. And we're going to start things off with Ryan Hollingshead, who plays for LAFC, 33 years old and has a contract until 2025. And his recent classic card sale prices come in around that £21 to £22 mark. And you can see here from his score chart that he has a lot of really good scores. And especially for someone at this sort of price range, he does give you a lot of those upper end scores. He has 10 scores from 70 to 80, 1 from 80 to 90, and 3 from 90 to 100, which is really good for someone that costs 20 quid. And the best thing about him is that when he scores really well, you can see that a lot of these scores are coming from purely AA on its own. Like here against the Rapids when they play at home, 32 AA there. Away at Orlando, 39 AA. At home to Minnesota, 39 AA. Down here, a couple more, 26 AA away to Colorado, and then 40 AA at home to Nashville. And for someone that plays mainly at left back as well, he's also got in the last year 8 goals, 1 assist, and 1 penalty won. So he is DS capable, which is good. And when you combine that with that really solid AA, you're going to get those big scores, and you can see those 3 100s there. And yeah, £20 for a player that can score 100s and has quite a lot of upside seems like a really good option to me. Next up, we have Christian Roldan, who plays for Seattle. Now, he is 29 years old with a contract until 2027, and his classic card prices have ranged anywhere from £16 to £22 recently. And he's someone that is not as explosive as Ryan Hollingshead. However, he does give you a lot of really consistent scores, especially if you look in the last 7 to 10 games here. A 46, 46, 73, 59, 64, 53, 68, 72. So a lot of scores in that 50 to 70 range. And he's the perfect player to combine with those bigger hitters. He can get you those sort of not guaranteed, but really consistent 60 to 70 scores. And then if you partner him with those players that have that 100 upside, you've got the recipe for a really successful lineup. And the good thing with a player like this is that when he's fit, he basically plays every game, whether it's at right back, holding midfield, or right mid for Seattle. So I think he's a really consistent, solid option. Next, we have a card that I actually own, which is Mateusz Klich from DC United. He is 34 years old, and I believe he's got a contract up until next season. And his recent classic card sale has been around that £25 mark. And I would say he's somewhere between Christian Roldan and Hollingshead in terms of his scores. He gives you that mid-ground, which is great, and does also give you a little bit of upside. Now, he hasn't hit above 90 in the last year, but he does have 3 scores between 80 to 90. And he does take a lot of set pieces for DC and is also on penalties when Benteke isn't playing. And I just think overall for his price range, he's a really consistent player. You can basically plug and play him anywhere. And he's someone that I don't think is going to let you down really on a regular basis. Next up, we have Sergio Busquets, who plays for Inter Miami. He's 35 years old and has a contract till December 2025. And his recent sales have been around that £24 mark. Now, as you can see from his scores, he is very consistent, especially in the last 10 to 15 games. He's got a lot of scores between 50 and 60, and then quite a lot, to be fair, 14 from 60 to 80. Now, he is someone that I expect will score better when Messi is in the team. Obviously, he can get a lot of those cheap assists by passing it to Messi and let Messi do his thing. But he does give you a really consistent mid-ground. And he's someone that you know is basically going to play every game as well. And you can see down here when he did score that 91, that was an assist in a 1-0 win against DC. And he also partnered that with 31.6 AA. So if he can get a few of those DAs, he does have the AA scoring to actually get you up into those high scores as well. Next, we have James Sands, who is 23 years old and plays for New York City. Now, he is our only U23 on this list, and he is U23 until 2025. And his price is coming in around that £17 to £18 mark. Now, he's someone that I've included on this list mainly for his scores recently. You can see that in his last 5 games, he scored very, very well and obviously has that big 100 score. And I was looking through his scores in the last 5-6 games, and you can see here that in this last game against Montreal, 25 AA. In this win against Orlando, 42 AA with a assist. In this loss against New York, 23 AA. In this loss against LA when he had an error, 27 AA. In this win against Columbus, 13 AA. In this win against Earthquakes, 27 AA. So especially the last 5-6 games, his AA game has been really, really strong. And you can see that when he does get that goal or assist, he is capable of scoring those hundreds. Now, obviously, he has to do this on a more consistent basis throughout the whole season, but he is a little bit cheaper than the other players. And if this form does continue, his price should just creep up a little bit as well. The only real negative for him is that in the next 6 games, they play 5 away from home, which isn't great for any MLS team. But yeah, I think recently his scoring's been great, and if he carries on, he's going to be a really, really solid scorer. Next up, we have Braian Ojeda, the midfielder for Real Salt Lake. He is 24 years old, and his recent price is somewhere between £10 to £15. And I would say he's quite similar to Christian Roldan in his scoring. He's very, very consistent in that mid-ground with 15.8 AA, which gives you that sort of really solid baseline. And you can see he's got, from his scoring chart here, a lot of scores between 40 and 60. What's that? 19 scores. So he's very, very consistent. He's on this list because he has that capability of hitting higher, similarly to James Sands when he gets a goal or assist. And if we can see a few more of them from him, he can then get you these better scores, as you can see here in the last 5 games, 64, 71, 92, which is very, very nice. Salt Lake are one of the better teams in the MLS as well. So he should be on the winning side more often than not. And yeah, another really, really solid midfielder. Probably have to partner him with some bigger scorers. But yeah, overall, for somewhere between £10 to £15, I think he's a really, really solid option. And then last up, we had to get an ex-Saints player in there with Yoshida. He's a little bit older at 35 years old, and his contract does end in 2024. However, he is very, very cheap, somewhere between that £10 to £15 range. And you can see from his scores that he is just Mr. Consistent. And I think he's a great plug and play option if you need a player in those cap modes, or perhaps you're in those sort of mid to lower divs in Challenger. You can see from his scores here that he's always going to get you somewhere between that 40 to 60 mark, with a few scores from 60 to 80. He's got 20 scores in that lower range and 9 in that higher range. And you can see here that he plays every game. He's very, very consistent, always round that sort of 15 to 20 AA. And if you can then partner him with some other players who have a bit more upside, it's going to be a really, really solid option for you, especially, as I was saying, in those cap modes and maybe in those sort of like div free Challenger as well. But yeah, overall, just a really, really consistent option. Okay, guys, that is going to be all for today's video. Please make sure to like and subscribe. And if you've got any questions, let me know down below. And I'll see you next time.